Hey everyone, welcome back. So today we're diving into something that's literally reshaping American relationships. As we look at the landscape of 2026, we're exploring how technology isn't just replacing jobs anymore, it's actually starting to replace human intimacy itself. Let's jump right in. Picture this for a second. You're looking into a typical American living room tonight. On the surface, it looks completely normal. You've got a couple sitting on the couch, the TV is glowing softly in the background, maybe some mail stacked on the counter, and they both have phones in their hands. But if you look a little closer, there's a pretty chilling reality hiding beneath that warm, cozy glow. They aren't talking to each other. One of them is actually talking to someone else entirely, someone who doesn't even exist. So, that brings us to a crucial question. Who exactly is this invisible third person? Well, it's not a celebrity. It's not a politician. It's not even another human being. It is a perfectly tailored, highly sophisticated algorithm. And this invisible entity is rapidly becoming one of the most powerful forces in modern relationships. Get ready for this number because it's absolutely staggering. 50 million. As of 2026, AI companion apps have crossed more than 50 million active users worldwide. These users are spending up to 2 whole hours every single day talking to these AI partners. They're generating over $500 million in annual subscription revenue. Think about that. Millions of people are emotionally bonding with software that's literally engineered to love them back perfectly. You know, technology didn't just wake up one day and create loneliness out of thin air. It industrialized it over time. We started with getting a little dopamine hit from Facebook likes back in the 2000s. Then we moved to infinite scrolling in the 2010s, parasocial influencers, virtual intimacy, and now, here in 2026, we have fully personalized artificial affection. Tech corporations figured out that lonely, emotionally exhausted people are incredibly profitable. They've turned human vulnerability into a highly lucrative subscription model. Section 2. The frictionless illusion. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and look at the actual psychological mechanisms driving this massive boom. Why are emotionally exhausted Americans actively choosing a simulation over a real person? Well, think about it. Real human relationships, they're messy. They involve friction, setting boundaries, conflict, and compromise. But the thing is, those are the exact things that build our empathy and emotional maturity. AI companions, on the other hand, offer zero judgment, endless validation, and they are always available, even at 2 a.m. They're hyper-agreeable, they become exactly what the user wants them to be, which completely eliminates the friction of reality. And because of that frictionless illusion, we've hit a pretty shocking reality. 41% of users now explicitly prefer their AI girlfriends or companions over real-world relationships. Why? Because the interaction feels entirely safe emotionally. It requires absolutely zero emotional risk, zero compromise, and zero accountability. People are basically conditioning themselves to relationships where they never have to negotiate with the real world. Now, you might be thinking this is just a single person's game, right? Actually, no. 12% of AI companion users are already in committed relationships or marriages. We're seeing the emergence of a completely new crisis here: digital infidelity. Therapists are now dealing with spouses who use AI for fantasy fulfillment or emotional support simply because they feel emotionally unseen at home. It's adding a whole new, really complicated layer to modern marriages. Section 3. The dark core, the deepfake epidemic. While millions are falling for artificial intimacy, there is this deeply terrifying shadow industry exploding right alongside it. This is where we move from a story about emotional complexity into a really grave reality where consent is just being entirely destroyed. Cyberintelligence estimates show that non-consensual deepfake content absolutely exploded to 8 million pieces by 2026. And researchers found something even more disturbing. Roughly 98% of all deepfakes online are pornographic, and they are overwhelmingly targeting women without their consent. And what's really scary is how accessible and scalable this exploitation has become. Researchers found nearly 35,000 downloadable deepfake models just floating around. Bad actors only need about 20 ordinary photos to create this stuff. There are even apps that generate explicit images in minutes. This means it's no longer just targeting celebrities, it targets anyone. Put yourself in the shoes of an ordinary teenager going to school today. Someone you've never even met can digitally strip away your consent and identity in just a few minutes. The scale of the trauma here is just
devastating. By 2026, UNICEF and Interpol warned that over 1 million children reported having their images manipulated into sexually explicit deepfakes in a single year. That's essentially one child in every single classroom. This isn't some fringe dark web horror story anymore. It's a normalized form of digital abuse that's causing panic attacks, social withdrawal, and severe trauma that victims say feels akin to physical sexual assault.
Now, the federal government was totally caught off guard by this, but they've been scrambling to catch up. Back in 2025, Congress passed the Take It Down Act, which finally criminalized non-consensual intimate deepfakes. Platforms were legally forced to remove the content, and the FBI started launching major crackdowns on these underground networks, arresting the people generating these massive collections. But as our sources point out, the technology just keeps adapting, rebranding, and migrating further and further underground. Section 4. A civilization at crossroads. When we pull back and look at the whole picture, these technologies, both the AI companions and the deepfakes, they're holding a massive mirror up to our emotionally starving culture right now. They trap us in this really dangerous psychological feedback loop. The lonelier people become, the more they retreat into digital intimacy. And as digital intimacy replaces genuine human connection, real relationships actually become harder to maintain because we're losing our emotional muscles. And since real relationships get harder, society as a whole becomes even lonelier. We're risking a future where profound emotional isolation is just the accepted norm. And our institutions, they're already trying to brace for this highly fragmented society. Legislators in states like Ohio have actually proposed measures to address the possibility of humans legally marrying AI entities. I know, it sounds surreal, right? Almost absurd to us today. But then again, so did the idea of AI girlfriends just 10 years ago. It really shows how rapidly our societal baseline for intimacy is shifting under our feet. As we process all of this, it really forces us to slow down and ask some incredibly deep, introspective questions about modern trust. Think about it. Is emotional attachment to an AI cheating? If your partner becomes emotionally dependent on software that never ever argues back, does that betray your human bond? We don't have clear answers to this yet, mostly because the technology is evolving way faster than our culture can keep up with. And on a bigger scale, what actually happens when people start preferring predictable algorithms over unpredictable humans? I mean, civilizations survive on trust, families, communities, and our shared ability to cooperate with imperfect people. If we lose the ability to tolerate discomfort and imperfection, our society becomes deeply fragmented and incredibly vulnerable. So it really all boils down to one ultimate thought-provoking philosophical question. What makes love real? Sure, an AI companion might temporarily soothe your loneliness, but it cannot truly sacrifice for you. It can't age beside you. It definitely can't share your mortality. Real relationships are difficult precisely because they are real. And maybe that difficulty isn't some flaw in the system. Maybe it's the entire point of being human. I want to leave you with a really powerful realization directly from our sources today. The future won't be decided by machines. It will be decided by what human beings choose to value: convenience or connection, endless validation or authentic love. I genuinely want to hear your perspective on this. Do you believe emotional relationships with an AI count as cheating in real life? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this explainer valuable, please share it and subscribe for more deep dives. Understanding this stuff might just be one of the most important survival skills of our time. Thanks for learning with me today.